Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is for you, I'm Cyclone. Welcome to more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. We're in for a long one today, boys and girls. We got a 70-minute scenario, about as long as you can get. We do have a 60-minute one down here later on, but we're not doing that today. This is a 70-minute scenario all the way from the terminus of the route at Richmond along the Portsmouth Direct Line onwards to Stratford, where we finished last time, and where the original route ends, not counting the parts to Barking or even the sections to the high-speed line, which includes St. Pancras. So basically we're doing the full run from Richmond to Stratford as originally set up on the North London line before the Goblin Lines DLC came to be. Buckle up, we're in for a long one. So I'm not sure how many stops are on this route. I know we had 18 last time from Willesden Junction to Stratford, and that didn't even count Clapham Junction, Imperial Wharf, and all those that would be on the full run now. That'd be about 23 stops, I believe, total on the full service, and we got to skip those first 5 because they weren't on the route. This time we've got everything. This is the full run. So let's see how long this full run actually takes us. Probably about 70 minutes. And let's see how many stops there actually are. I'm very curious if this will break my record. Keep in mind, my record is 20 stops on the suburban Glasgow route from Springburn to Dumbarton Central. Let's see if we break that right now. Good evening, driver. Today you'll be in charge of a full line run all the way up to Stratford from here in Richmond. You'll need to stop at every station along the way, but the line ahead is clear, so there shouldn't be any major interruptions. Once you get to Acton Central, you'll need to raise the pantograph and contact shoes to change from third rail to overhead power. You'll be reminded of this near the time. For now, you can let passengers board and set off. Good luck, and the rest of this is blank. So, passengers boarding, that forward, headlights on, which I tend to do about 50% of the time at the start of the scenario. This goes in the 50%. And at this point, we really only have to look at our train prior to departure, so let's do that. Leaving Richmond, our first stop today is Kew Gardens. I'm going to go ahead and get ourselves up to 15 very quickly. I'll just show you on the map where Richmond is, but as we said already at some point, it is the terminus of this route. So you can expect it's at the very end of the map. There's our first stop. We're going to be going into the line, eventually getting up to Willesden Junction, which was way up here again, and continuing from there. I went way too high. Richmond is right here at the end of the line. As you can see, we're in one of the terminal platforms, platform number 4, as we leave the lines. So going back to the live view from the train, get ourselves back up to 15 because we are going to lose speed slightly on level ground. So now we have a 35-mile-per-hour speed limit. I've gone ahead and started gaining speed again, but it's a little too quick, so I'm going to ease it back off. Now we can go up to 35 miles per hour. Going to ease that off as we get up to about 30. Because we're going to try to keep increasing without too much effort into the 45. So I'm just going to try and speed up to 45, see if we actually hit 35 around the time we cross into the new speed limit. We should be okay with that. In fact, I went up to level 2 a little early, so now we can go all the way up to 4 again, back up to 45. Going to ease it back off quickly into level 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and let it build slowly. I will stop in time for Kew Gardens. Sometimes we can see a backhoe working up here. I see him. We have a backhoe. Gotta look at the backhoe, right? So I'm beginning to slow down a little bit for Kew Gardens. We are very early, so I don't want to necessarily just rush in here. So down under 30 for now, that'll do. Now, by the way, take a while to guess which Kew Gardens is more busy, not important. Which one is busier? The one here in the UK on this line, or the one in New York City, which I believe is referring to the subway line, because the one on the Long Island Railroad we know is not that busy from service patterns. So guess which one is busier. I'll give you some intel on that after we do our pickup. What is that train doing over there? So I am proceeding to the end of the platform because I can. All right, and that is arrival at Kew Gardens, platform number 1, about 16 miles from Stratford. Leaving Kew Gardens, our next stop is Gunnersbury. And that little trivia I gave you earlier, Kew Gardens in New York City is the busier of the two. Over 3 million passengers, I believe, in the course of a year. Not sure what year that was based on, but that may have been post-COVID, actually. Certainly wasn't that high during COVID. Not when everyone was being told to stay home. Anyway, by this point in the DLC, you may have, or may even be shortly after this, you may have received an achievement in your play if you played the first scenario, and you're playing this scenario or any other scenario at this point. You would have, at this point, a 1-hour achievement. I'm forgetting the exact name of it. I'll see if I can check that. But it's an achievement for playing the first hour for an hour of the DLC. Not the first hour, because it doesn't matter what you play, but playing the DLC for over an hour is that first achievement. So a random achievement. I think you get a 10-minute one, then you get an hour. Something about being timely is the name of it. To slow down just a little early. I like to slow down a little early to make sure I don't bust the speed limit by accident as I'm in the process of slowing down. So right now I'm just going to cruise in the platform until I need to stop. Actually, I should stop right now because we're getting to the end of the platform. So that'd be a really good idea. I'd say I need to stop. See some car parks on the side of the platforms here, or as I call them, parking garages. And arrival at Gunnersbury, platform number 2. The name of that achievement, I forgot, by the way, was Time Efficient. Time Efficient for that 1 hour. Leaving Gunnersbury at a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit. Why? Our next stop is South Acton. I did not mean to brake there, but it happened. We're going to be moving into a 25-mile-per-hour speed restriction. It looks like we're on a little bit of an uphill gradient now, so I'm going to apply a little more power to get up that quickly. Now, South Acton, I believe, is the point at which we've been told to change our traction type. So I'm going to have to look into how to do that. I've never actually done that, so I hope they actually give us a tutorial tip on that. By the way, the AI trains are simply the number of the train. So this train right here, if we were to bring up the AI information, you would see just the train number on it. That's all you would see for the name of the train. And I couldn't really see the train number as the train went by, so your guess is as good as mine. I don't want to bring them up because it kind of breaks the realness of it to a certain extent. We have a minute to make our stop. We're entering a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit. Now you let us. So far, the stop times all end with a 0-0. I approve. Oh, it's Acton Central, not South Acton. Sorry, we got one more. So we're going to probably get our notification of the new traction type as we get towards Acton Central. Anyway, we might get told about it right now as we stop at South Acton. We were told nothing. Leaving South Acton, our next stop is Acton Central. I might bring up the information on this just in case we're not told how to do it. Might be a good idea for me to do that. So you should be seeing those lines joining us in a moment here, those electric lines. Not sure the exact point where they start. There they are. The power of electricity. We will tap into that shortly. So if we were to continue on the third rails, naturally we're not supposed to be able to do that. And it may actually fail. So we're a little bit early. We have the time to do this. So we definitely have lots of time to make this changeover. I'm just going to go ahead and get up to the end of the platform. We have a whole minute to do this. Doors are open here at Acton Central. Back with you in the class 378. The game is going to tell us how to do this in just a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead of it here. I'm going to step forward and look at our view over here on this side of the cab. And you can see, in addition to the headlights on, we got some buttons underneath that we're going to get zoomed in on in just a moment. Those blue and yellow buttons. So I'm going to pause the game here so we can read this without having any, just heard one beep instead of two because I paused the game. So we're going to read this so you can see what it is we're doing. At Acton Central, the line changes from third rail to overhead power, so you'll need to change the train's supply. What we want to do is raise the pantograph, and then we'll need to raise the shoes. Apparently we don't raise the shoes first, even though I think it still works because I was driving after doing it that way. So you can raise the shoes first, but I think you're supposed to put the pantograph up first. So the idea is to keep electrical power going at all times instead of taking electricity completely off the train and then suddenly reapplying it. So the idea is keep going at all times so there's always power. And if something goes wrong, you can just take it off and reapply it and you still have power in the train. So I guess it's so that you can keep the lights on in the train, any air conditioning, things like that. I think that might be the reason behind not taking the power away, so there's no interruption in service within the cab. That's why you don't raise the shoes first. Similarly, when you go the other way, you probably have to put the shoes down before you take the pantograph down. So, yeah, that's probably just the best way to do it. So what we're going to be doing, as it says here, I'll close the box. We're going to go ahead and click the we're going to click the pantograph up button first, and then we will do shoes up, because we don't want to keep the shoes down. So let's go ahead and unpause, and we'll do just that. So there's a pantograph up. And there's the shoes up. It should be working now, I think. Did it work? Oh, there it goes. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and pop out. So ideally you want to do this before the stop here. Before you get going. You want to do this before the game tells you, because you're wasting a lot of time sitting at the station doing this. And there's a very good possibility you could wind up being late for your stop at Willesden Junction. In fact, you can see the ETA puts you way behind if you wait for the system to tell you, because you have to sit there and wait for it to change over. So the way that was incorporated, I'm not very happy about. So what can you do? There should have been a little bit more time on that stop, since this was meant as a tutorial for us. There should have been a little bit more time on that stop just to give us the opportunity to learn how to do that. In the future, we're going to be expected to know how to do that and do it ourselves between the stops. Let's see if we can still pull off being on time even with that delay. We're being warned now about the 35-mile-per-hour section. I'm going to go ahead and let the train coast down to that. I just hit 45 briefly there. There's the Morphus board for the 35. And the sunflower goes back off to show us our green signal. You can see our power changeover did work because we are moving along without any third rail. Brake shoes have nothing to connect to now, so the overhead power is indeed on. The only thing I'm not sure about is if we actually see the pantograph up. I don't see it at all, do you? No, I don't see the pantograph up at all. Oh, there it is. Found it. Way back at the end of the train. Maybe that's the front of the train, and going the other way it would be the front of the train. Maybe that's normally the front of the set, and therefore it's just that one that goes up every time. Something worth knowing as well is that we will now join all trains from Clapham Junction on the line. That'll be in about a minute or so. We also have a 20-mile-per-hour section coming up right around the time that line joins in. By the way, a lot of the tracks on this route are tilted. I've been noticing as I get out of the train for the camera views, there's a lot of tilt on some of these tracks. So there is some tilt to help with turning and allow the trains to stay on the tracks without having to make passengers too uncomfortable, which is good. But it is kind of weird when you get out of the train. I can see we're on one of those tilted tracks right now just a little bit. I also came down to speed a little too early here, so I'm going to try to maintain this 20 as much as I can for right now, since I am going into a 30. Looks like I might still be on time. We didn't lose too much overall time on the ETA in the end. The Clapham line junction has just joined us. Or the line from there, rather. So Kensington, Olympia, Imperial Wharf, and all those stations being served on this route are now on the same path we are. Coming into Willesden Junction. I'm just going to go ahead and coast in. We have a few seconds to spare here. And I'll go ahead and I'll bring it to a stop right now. So that is arrival at Willesden Junction, platform number 4. Realistically, we went slightly early there, I think. Leaving Willesden Junction, our next stop is Kensal Rise. Now, the journey now is very, very similar to the one we already did, coming from the other line. The stops are pretty much almost exactly the same. As we go along, there might be some timing differences, but the stops are generally the same stations all the way along here. There's Gospel Oak again on the line to Barking. And then we have Camden Road leading to St. Pancras International, but we're going to continue past to Stratford by going through the usual suspects. And as you can see, when we get down to Stratford, it's literally less than 12 miles away at this point. So it's a very, very short journey, but there's a lot of stops. It takes a while because of all those stops. If this was more of an express train, we'd be done this drive in less than 20 minutes, probably. Actually, it might be a little more than 20 minutes if we weren't making any stops. But nonetheless, it would be about 20 minutes. So all the stops really extend it. This might be close to 30 minutes. Another train coming by. So made up to 40 miles per hour. We're going to go ahead and start slowing down for Kensal Rise, however. We have 1 minute to make our stop. We have a 45 on the plan for this one. I don't like that. And on the London Overground, we are now stopping at Kensal Rise, platform number 2. I have a habit for going early in this train, since it lets me. Leaving Kensal Rise, our next stop is Brondesbury Park, which will be followed by Brondesbury, of course. 45 miles per hour is our speed limit. As I mentioned before, we're now in the packed sardine part of the journey. Wonder if the next station will pop in before we actually zoom out. Nope. Maybe not. Oh, it is. There's the third station ahead. There it is. West Hempstead, I think that was. Oh, I'm coming in a little too slowly. I need to get that stop in now. Whoopsie. Let's hurry with that. And that's arrival at Brondesbury Park, platform number 2. Leaving Brondesbury Park, our logical next stop is Brondesbury. I'm going to go ahead and use level 4 throttle to get ourselves up to speed very quickly, because we only have a minute to do this stop and I want to come in at a good speed so I can try to make up some time. .40 will do. Starting with a level 1 brake application. Gonna move it up to a level 2 now. I'm gonna have to come in a little faster than I want to for timing purposes. Gonna use a level 3 brake here. If I overshoot, I overshoot. Nope, we're good. Arrival at Brondesbury, platform number 2. Leaving Brondesbury, our next stop is West Hempstead. You can see Finchley Road and Frognal behind it. That will be another stop for us as well. We have a little bit more luxury with this stop because this is a 15 stop instead of a 45, but nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and try to get this stopped as quick as we can. We should be close to the 15. We're not even in the platform yet, and we're already at 15. This is starting to get to the point that I'm questioning the timings a little bit. So we're going to use a level 3 stop power here. And arrival at West Hempstead, platform number 2. Leaving West Hempstead, our next stop, as alluded to earlier, is Finchley Road and Frognal, which should be followed, I think, by Highbury and Islington. This stop is a 45 stop, so I am being forced to pull myself in as quick as I can and hit the stop brakes very, very quickly. Can I get this stop on time? Let's find out. We have a little leeway, but I want to do it on time if I can. There it is. Arrival at Finchley Road and Frognal, platform number 2. Notice my mighty timeliness penalty of 0. That's a warning if I've ever seen one. Leaving Finchley Road and Frognal. Second time we've done that, by the way, in 2 scenarios. That's actually a record. We're heading next for Hempstead Heath as our next stop. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves up to 45 quickly to give us the maximum amount of time we can on this part of the journey. Perfect. There is a 20 up ahead we have to be wary about on the way to Gospel Oak. Again, that's where the line to Barking jumps off. So we have a 20 on the junction. I'm not sure if ours is the main line or the junction line, the separate line, but either way we have to go down to 20. We have another 30 seconds to make this stop, so I'm not too concerned. The little bit of lag I had there stopped me from hitting the brakes, unfortunately. But I'm coming a little too slowly, so I'm going to actually just do a quick level 3 brake when we get in. There we go. And we should still be on time for this one. So, arrival at Hempstead Heath, platform number 2. Leaving Hempstead Heath at a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit, we will be arriving at Gospel Oak next under a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit. We're going to go ahead and take advantage of some of our speed and then drop it for the 20 that's up ahead, which I'm going to start reducing right now. We are down in time. You can see the sign right there for the 20. Oh! I hit a slight downhill that I forgot about as I entered the 20. I got it down just in time for that as well. I forgot about that downhill from the last scenario. So it's going to be like that all the way down through Gospel Oak. We have to actually keep ourselves a little bit under 20 to make sure we don't speed at all. Once we hit 20, we drop it again. Won't be a problem for our stop, but just maybe slightly more stopping time. But other than that, it won't be a problem. There goes the line to Barking. There's another AI train sitting at, I believe that's platform 1. I assume, maybe platform 1 could be to our side as well. I don't know. On the left. Either way, we're the middle platform. We are platform number 2, and I should have hit the brakes sooner, so I'm going to use level 3 brake. Quickly back to level 2 and arrival at Gospel Oak, platform number 2. We're back to being early. Leaving Gospel Oak at a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit. We are about to re-enter a 45. And our next stop is Kentish Town West. There we go. Up to 45 we go. We are getting close to London St. Pancras again. Camden Road is the station before the turnoff, if you happen to take a service into St. Pancras. I don't know if those services are shown on this route, but I have noticed, and I'm going to have to check the map on this one, but I have noticed, at least on the Barking route, that you do actually have, that you do actually have the part of the Midland Main Line, I think 2 stations. So Kentish Thameslink or something like that. There's a Thameslink station named, or it might be Camden Thameslink, one of those. But it's the same station name with Thameslink on it. Is actually done. That's the second station out from London St. Pancras on the Midland Main Line. We are going to be using that line in the future as well. I have that route. So we are going to go ahead and go for a drive up to Bedford. Don't worry, that's going to be covered. But some of it is reproduced here. In fact, I can bring up the map very quickly, perhaps while we're stopped, and show you. I'm going to overshoot the platform. Level 3 brake was not enough here. So we're just going to go ahead and deal without any noises as we open the doors here at Kentish Town West, Platform 2, as far as we can. Back in the cab of the 378, I do want to show you that map, so we're going to go ahead and bring it up very quickly. You can see part of there's St. Pancras right there. You can see part of the Thameslink, the first station being Kentish Town is what I was thinking of. But over here, way back near Gospel Oak, you're going to find the West Hempstead Thameslink. And then eventually it does disappear. That is the line going off to Bedford. You mentioned Cricklewood there. And there's a number of other stations on that section as well, and other links, I think, in and out. So, but that is nowadays, that is known as a Thameslink route. You'll see the Class 700 on that one quite frequently. Our version of the route, I think, will include the 319, being an older era. In any case, we're getting ready for our departure here from Kentish Town West. We're not going to be seeing the Kentish Town station itself, but we are going to see Camden Road. And I want to take a look and see, very briefly, if London St. Pancras is actually represented in full mode, or whether, as in something we would use with scenarios, or whether it's just there. We have a 20-mile-per-hour section coming up, so I'm going to watch myself coming in for that. I'm going to start dropping immediately because I'm only about a 1/10 of a mile away from that sign. There is a little downhill here, so I have to make sure I stay under. Good to know. So there's a 20 miles per hour. The downhill has mostly ended. Another backhoe. I think I saw that one last scenario. Those two always there? They never disappear? They live in those areas? Maybe there was construction being done in this area, I don't know. So arriving into Camden Road, I might not really have a chance to check the St. Pancras during this scenario. I may have to just do that on my own. But if there's enough time on this stop, I will pop over and I will take a look. So here we are, arrival at Camden Road, platform number 2. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take a quick look. I'm going to pop back out of the train. We're going to head down the track. I'm going to find a track that's pulling away here. There it is. Nope, that's not it. There's a track somewhere along here that pulls away. It might go underground. That might be why I can't see it. But I'll just show you on the cab here, or in the train. There's the train. There's the line pulling away. It actually connects right here on this line. And that's the one that goes down. It does seem to go underground from what I can tell, but I'm not 100% sure of that. It goes towards the southern stations in that area. So I was trying to go very quickly, but I will take a look as we go by, see if I can find it. I didn't catch the crossing tracks either, which would actually help me locate where the station is. Gonna go up to 20 miles per hour. We'll take one more look as we're going, because we've seen this part of the journey before. This is nothing new. We got a nice casual 15 stop here. So I'm going to take a look from outside the train just to see if I can identify where this line goes off. Whoops. There it goes. That's it right there. Let's follow that for a second, shall we? If we continue down there, St. Pancras is right there. That's London St. Pancras. So yeah, it looks like it's somewhat developed. I'm not sure if it's fully developed, but you can see some of the glass tops there. So it is somewhat there. And I guess you could use it for snares if you really want to. Now again, I'm not sure what St. Pancras is normally supposed to look like, but so I'm not sure if that's a full look or not. We'll take a close look at it when we get a chance to on a future... Actually, we were on it on the high-speed line now that I think about it. I think it did look a little different. So maybe it's not fully developed. I don't know. I don't know. Someone else can tell me if it actually would not be usable in its form on this. So we're going to go ahead and start making a stop here at Caledonian Road and Barnsbury. And I lied before. I said Highbury and Islington was back about a few stations ago. That was a mistake on my part. It's actually the stop after Caledonian Road in Barnsbury. What I remembered is it was after another long station name. I just forgot which one. I'm human. Sorry, I'm not a robot, guys. That's your quote of the day. I'm not a robot, guys. Arrival at Caledonian Road and Barnsbury, platform number 3. Something is wrong here, guys. My doors are not opening. This is bizarre. I have to reverse and try this again. Something is wrong here. Okay, if I am late for this because of that, that is something I'm going to have a beef with. Let's see what happens here, guys. That should not have happened. I should have been able to get the door open counting on that previous move. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm going to go ahead and keep the move to that picture that I showed you in. I'm not going to edit that out. I'm just going to let you see what happens here. This is something that happened that was not accurate. I still got my stop because I was within the minute. But now I am way behind for my next stop. So I am in serious, serious trouble right now. And it is not because of anything I did. It's because the game messed up on the stop and didn't give me credit for making the stop. So now our next stop, Highbury and Islington, is going to be way off schedule by at least a half a minute. Because I was forced from being early to be half a minute late instead. And I barely avoided speeding there at 41 miles per hour. Let's see if we can catch up, because now we have to do some catching up. Level 3 brake. I have to. Passenger discomfort is going to happen. I blame the game. Let's hope this stop works as it's supposed to. We're arrived at Highbury and Islington, platform number 8. And by the way, platforms 3 to 6 do not exist. It's 1, 2, 7, and 8 on our lines. Leaving Highbury and Islington, our next stop is Canonbury, which is right there. We've got half a minute to get there. So I made it up to 40 miles per hour. There is a slight downhill here. I keep it down a little bit because I have to hit the brakes anyway. Okay, let's bring it down. I'm actually coming a little too slowly if I want to try and catch up time. If there are any more 45 stops, I have a problem. I may not be able to catch those up. But I'm doing my best. Another train just opening its doors over there. 3 times. Arrival at Canonbury, platform number 4. Leaving Canonbury, that other train is going with us. You can actually see the train number ahead, 378208 is the train that's going alongside us. It's doing its own service. I wish we knew what that service was. But it looks like another all-stop service going somewhere. Maybe it came from St. Pancras. That's a possibility. So you have 20 seconds for the current stop. Another train in our frame. You can see Hackney, Hackney Central coming up there. So we're getting close to Stratford. That's about 3 stops out, I believe. I'm coming in way too slowly now. I should be coming in a little bit faster if I want to make up time from that bugged stop earlier. But it's also a very, very small platform. So I'm putting a level 3 brake on for a moment. Going to bring it back off. I wanted level 2, actually. Actually, I do need level 3. This is way too short of a platform. Alright. There we go. Arrival at Dalston, Kingsland, which I didn't tell you was a station, but that's what it is. We're there now. Leaving Dalston, Kingsland, I'm now biting my nails. Our next stop is Hackney Central. It is a 45 stop. I need to hit the speed limit quickly to make up all the time I lost. I have been making up a few seconds here and there, but I'm still more than 15 seconds behind. So I'm a little antsy on this one. The good news is we're now on a 45 mile per hour speed limit. We have a whole minute to make our stop, so this might be okay. I'm just going to have to put on a level 3 brake and hope. But 1.5 tenths of a mile out. 1.5 tenths of a mile out, I'm going to put on level 3 brake and see what we come to. Here we go. Back to a level 2. I just realized that's going to come in too slow, so I'm going to maintain 30 for right now. I'm also worried about speeding past the signal here. Even though it's a green signal, I want to stay within the platform bounds. I am now on a level 3 brake. I'm going to be a few seconds behind, but I should still be on time. I think we've made up the time from that bugged stop, ladies and gentlemen. Arrival at Hackney Central, platform number 2. Leaving Hackney Central. On time, I should add. Our next stop is Homerton. We are three stops out from Stratford. Stratford being the third one, so 2 stops to go. And then we'll come to our terminal stop. We are being warned about the 40-mile-per-hour speed limit, which is after the station. It's at the end of the station platform, in fact. So I'll use a level 1 brake this time, because level 3 was way too efficient, I found out, on the last stop. Holding 30 for a moment. This is a short platform, so I'm still going to go ahead and hit the brakes a little earlier than I would otherwise. I'm down to 20, which is good. And now I'm going to hit a level 3 brake, and I should stop maybe about 4 seconds behind. 5 seconds. As we stop at Homerton, platform number 2. Leaving Homerton, our next stop is Hackney Wick, our penultimate stop. We're getting a warning for the 25 up ahead. We have several minutes before we actually have to make this stop at Hackney Wick, so I can officially say now that we have caught up. I'm very, very happy about that. We have completely caught up. So I will start easing our speed down to 25 miles per hour. We're now down to 25 miles per hour. Just going to show you a quick look at the map around the area here. Not St. Pancras, way where we are right now. We're going to Hackney Wick. Notice that Stratford International has been made. And by the way, on the full Goblin lines, the path to St. Pancras on the high-speed line is fully constructed. Now, we're never going to use it, but it's fully constructed. So for continuity purposes, you can go along the entire line from one side to the other. It actually continues, by the way, one more thing I'll point out. It actually continues well beyond, it continues well beyond this point as well over to the Rainham area on that line. There's a Rainham Essex station. It continues to Rainham Essex. And that goes along with the Barking line because Barking is right above the high-speed line. So the high-speed line was constructed from St. Pancras over to Rainham for the purpose of showing the full track alongside what you're using and underneath what you're using. These sidings there are available as well. So you can actually do stuff in the sidings there that you might not have been able to do on the high-speed line because you're normally not up there. So you can actually do that all on the Goblin Lions version of the route. This DLC is much worth it because it adds a lot of things to the North London line route that were not put in on the original route. And it really completes the possibility to do a lot of very interesting services and shunting things around the route. In any case, we've arrived at Hackney Wick platform number 2. Leaving Hackney Wick, we're about a mile now from Stratford, which is our next and final stop. And we have managed to deal with the bug of the passenger door opening that did not count. There's the final train, by the way, 378204. We're going to lower ourselves for the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit. It's actually a lot closer than I remember it being for when that sign goes off. So let's go ahead and get that speed down very efficiently. There's a line heading off, by the way. I don't remember what that line is either. So let's take a quick peek and find out what that line is. That heads up towards... that heads up towards the the Lee Valley lines. There you go. We're being junctioned off, according to that feather junction, to the left by one track. That's going to put us into a terminal track at Stratford Stratford, Platform 1. I should point out, by the way, Stratford International is in that direction. If you were to go overlooking, just remember that that is there, and it's fully fleshed out, like I said, in the Goblin Lions route. It's fully fleshed out to allow you to allow you to see the whole line from St. Pancras to Rainham. So it's fleshed out in that. I don't think I got an alert for that yellow signal. Is there no board with that yellow signal? Interesting. Since we are approaching Stratford International, we can hear airplanes now. My speed has been going down gradually, so I've not been worrying about slowing down at all. Down to 16.10, and now I'm at the speed limit. This allows us to take another look outside the train as we approach. Quick look from overhead. That's a highway. Nice view of the area. So I'm going to drop my speed just a little bit here. We have almost a minute and a half to make this stop. I'm dropping my speed to make sure I don't trigger the emergency brake panel. We're going to remember that even though the buffer is quite a distance ahead, the platform access for customers will end at this area up here where that thing is coming along on the platform. So I'm going to slow the train down right now to make sure we can let all our passengers out before that. There's a little spot after it with its own yellow line, but that might be for drivers only. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. That should be good enough, I think. There we go. And that's arrival at Stratford. Wipe the sweat off the brow. Final stop. Let's look at our train. Well, there's my new record. 23 stops in one service. Whew. That even included a bugged stop, which took me an extra 45 seconds to deal with and almost made me late for multiple stops along the way after that. I lucked out on that second stop counting. I may not have needed to reverse, but I thought maybe it was a problem with recognition where I was on the platform, so I reversed anyway. You saw the headlights come on the front of the cab as it went in the other direction, but yeah, that was different. I'm leaving that in exactly as it happened. I'm leaving that in, complete with the camera view and everything. So congratulations, driver. You've successfully completed this full line run to Stratford. Let's see how you did. Yeah, let's see how I did. I'm tired after that. So the achievement that I just gained is called Quattro Service, as you can see. It seems the achievements are named after the scenarios, coincidentally enough. Because it just says unlock North London Line 378 Type 2. It uses a hyphen instead of a slash there. But that it names the scenario to Quattro Service. So, yeah. That was interesting. I'm going to call that a 24-stop service because I had to make that stop at the one station twice. And yet I somehow was still on time. Notice, by the way, I was given a late penalty of 0 seconds. So I didn't actually get penalized. If I was 1 second later, I would have lost a point on that. But, and yeah, I know it is possible to hack the scenario files to change whether you get penalty points or not. I have not done that. I literally was, both last scenario and this scenario, I legitimately was right on the second where the penalties would start incurring. I was on that very second in both cases, which shows how tight it is in certain circumstances, but I'm still surprised that I had to do that one stop twice. I think it was Caledonian Road in Barnsbury, and that's where things started to get a little sweaty for me. But I pulled off every stop. I am very, very fortunate. And looking at those stops at the bottom, 44 and 32, yeah, I was right. It's 1,012 points because 12 points got taken off there. So 12 points of penalty points were available. If I was a second or two late, who cares? It's 23 stops. It makes sense to have the extra 12 points, especially because if you took a point off of each stop, you wouldn't have had 1,000 points possible. So you have a little bit of leeway just because of the sheer number of stops you have to make. You have that little bit of leeway there on 1 or 2 stops. Even as many as 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 stops if you're a couple seconds late on each one. So you have that little bit of leeway. But not much. Just the usual tightness on the points you have to get there. But in any case, I'm going to just go ahead and relax after that one because that was a long service. I haven't decided 100% if I'm going to go into scenario number 3 on Tuesday or if I'm going to show off something different. I do have some things in mind that I do want to show off. So I will see you on Tuesday. I may show off the third scenario. I may show off something different, something unique. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. Have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.